In the ancient Yoruba kingdom of Kutuje, where the sun painted the sky gold and drums echoed across red earth, a royal cry filled the palace courtyard. A prince was born, his name, Odowale. The villagers danced, singing praises to the gods of fate. But inside the temple, the oracle shivered. The smoke of her divination curled upward like a warning. "This child," she whispered to the trembling king and queen, "is destined to kill his father and marry his mother." Fear silenced the palace drums. The king, Adatusa, looked to the gods and asked, "How can destiny be so cruel?" And the oracle replied, "The gods are not to be blamed, only men who try to fight their path." The queen weeps all night, her tears glistening like pearls beneath the pale moonlight. She rocks her newborn son gently, her coral beads clinking softly against his swaddled cloth. King Adatusa stands behind her, gazing down with heavy eyes, his crimson agbada glowing faintly in the firelight. He turns away, his heart torn between love and duty. He summons a loyal hunter who kneels before the throne, head bowed in obedience. The king's voice echoes through the palace. "Take the boy beyond the 7 hills. Leave him for the gods." The hunter nods silently, sorrow flickering in his eyes. He wraps the infant carefully, steps into the misty dawn, and disappears into the forest path. The sun rises slowly over Kutuja, painting the red earth gold. The hunter stops beneath a great iroko tree, the baby's cries breaking his resolve. He ties the baby's tiny legs with a leather cord, the ancient sign of sacrifice, then lays him gently on a bed of leaves and whispers a prayer to the gods. But destiny listens, and destiny pities. A poor farmer and his wife from Ijekan walk the forest path at sunrise. They hear the child's cries, rush forward, and gasp in awe at the sight of the abandoned prince. The woman lifts the baby into her arms, smiling through tears. "We shall call him Odowale," she whispers, "the wanderer." The gods watch in silence, the wind whispering through the trees, as fate takes its quiet turn. Years pass. The sun rises and sets over Ijekan, and Odowale grows. From a playful child to a tall, proud young man, he runs across the farmlands, his laughter echoing through the valleys. He lifts baskets with ease, chops wood, and races the wind, his strength becoming legend among his people. At dusk, he sits beside a crackling fire, wiping sweat from his brow, his face glowing in the firelight. A weary traveler approaches, his cloak dusty, his eyes shadowed with secrets. The stranger leans close to the flames and whispers, "You are cursed, boy. You will kill your father and marry your mother." The words strike like lightning. Odowale's smile fades. His heart pounds in his chest. He stares into the fire, the reflection of fear dancing in his eyes. He looks toward his hut, where his adoptive parents sleep peacefully, unaware of the prophecy that burns their son's soul. Odowale shakes his head, whispering to himself, "No, I would never harm them." He grabs his leather satchel, throws it over his shoulder, and runs into the night. Bare feet pound against the red earth as the moon follows him, silver light glinting off his beads. He runs faster, past the hills, past the forest, past his destiny. But the winds of fate stir the dust behind him. The road winds between 2 towering hills, their shadows stretching long beneath the afternoon sun. Odowale walks alone, his staff in hand, dust rising with every step. His face is set with determination, his heart still heavy with fear and anger. Suddenly he stops. Ahead, a grand carriage blocks the narrow path, carved from dark wood, trimmed with gold. 2 oxen snort and stamp, while guards shout orders, trying to make way for their master. An old chieftain, dressed in fine robes, pride gleaming in his eyes. The chieftain leans out of the carriage, voice booming, "Move aside, boy!" Odowale stands his ground, gripping his staff tighter. His jaw tightens, his pride flares. "I will not be spoken to like a slave," he says, his voice steady but burning. The chieftain's eyes narrow with rage. He shouts again, his guards step forward, and the air crackles with tension. Words clash like blades. Insults fly. Hands rise, then a shove, a blow. The world erupts in dust and fury. In a flash of blind rage, Odowale swings his staff, once, twice, and the chieftain falls. the sound of his body striking the earth echoing through the hills. Silence. The dust settles slowly. Odowale stares down, breathing hard, realization spreading across his face. As the old man's blood seeps into the red earth, thunder rumbles above. The sky darkens, the wind rises, and the gods sigh through the clouds. Destiny has taken its first step. Odowale wanders for many days and nights. His feet tread dusty paths, his eyes scan distant horizons, and the wind whispers through the tall grass as if guiding his steps. At last, he reaches Kutuj, a land once glorious, now stricken by plague and sorrow. The streets lie silent, the markets empty, and the cries of the sick echo through the air. The old king is dead. Enemies press the borders, their drums of war thundering beyond the hills. But Odowale, the wanderer, stands tall among frightened men. He calls the warriors together, his voice strong and steady. "We will not bow," he cries. "We will fight for Kutuj." Swords clash, spears rise. The warriors charge across the red plains, dust swirling around their feet. Odowale leads the charge, his staff and shield flashing in the sunlight. Enemies fall. Victory rises. The people of Kutuj cheer his name, their voices ringing through the hills. Odowale! Odowale! The council crowns him king, placing a beaded crown upon his head. Drums thunder once more, not for war, but for joy. And among the crowd stands Queen Odowale, the widow of the fallen king, radiant and graceful, her eyes filled with quiet wonder. She looks upon the brave stranger, her heart stirring with gratitude and admiration. The gods watch from above as fate spins its cruel thread. Odowale and Odowale marry under the golden sun. The people dance and sing, their laughter filling the kingdom once more. But the gods remain silent, their voices hidden in the wind. For destiny has not yet spoken its last word. Years passed. The drums of Kutuj beat in harmony once more. Odowale rules wisely, his voice echoing through the royal courtyard, guiding his people with strength and compassion. Children run and laugh through the palace halls. Queen Odowale smiles, her hands resting gently on their heads. The kingdom prospers under his reign, but fate never sleeps. Slowly, darkness creeps back into the land. The once green fields turn to dust. The rivers shrink, their beds cracked and dry beneath the burning sun. Villagers whisper in fear. The drums fall silent. The gods are angry, they say. Odowale rises from his throne, his face shadowed by worry. His voice booms across the palace hall. "Summon the oracle!" Now, guards rush out, torches flare. The palace fills with murmurs and fear. In the temple's dim glow, the oracle returns. The same ancient woman whose words once shook a kingdom. She kneels before the king, her cowrie beads rattling softly in the silence. Odowale steps forward, his jaw set, his tone fierce. "Find the sinner who offends the gods," he commands, "and I shall cleanse this land with my own hands." The oracle raises her trembling hand, her voice cracking like thunder in the still air. The plague comes not from the people, beat, but from the blood of the king himself. Gasps fill the hall. Odowale freezes. The flames flicker wildly, as if the gods themselves exhale in warning. The music falls to silence. Destiny has spoken once more. One day, an old messenger from Ejekan arrived, a weary traveler with a walking stick and a knowing smile. He greeted Odowale and said, "I once saved you from the forest, my son." Odowale's heart raced. "You mean I am not of this land?" The man nodded. Then another messenger came from Kutuj itself to tell the tale of the murdered king long ago. The puzzle pieces began to fall into place, like stones collapsing a dam. When Odowale told his wife, Queen Odowale, she laughed nervously. But when he described the leather cord tied around his ankles as a baby, her smile died. Her voice broke. "That was the same cord we tied around our son's feet the night we gave him to the gods." Silence. The truth struck like lightning. Odowale had killed his father and married his mother. The gods had spoken. The queen could not bear her shame. She took her life in silence. Odowale, blinded by grief and guilt, struck his eyes with the queen's brooch pin, crying out to the heavens, "O gods, you warned me and I ran, but a man cannot outrun his shadow." Blood and tears mixed as he fell to his knees. The gods are not to be blamed, only men who disobey. Odowale, now a blinded wanderer, left the kingdom. The people wept, not out of hate but pity. He walked into the forest once more, the same path where destiny began. People whispered of the fallen king who defied the gods. But the wise elders said, "The gods are not cruel, they are mirrors. It is we who twist our reflection." Years passed. Kutuj healed. A new king rose, guided by Odowale's mistakes. In every storytelling night, under moonlit baobab trees, the elders would whisper, "Even kings must bow to destiny." But the gods are not to be blamed. Children listened, eyes wide, heart heavy with awe. And somewhere beyond the mortal world, Odowale's spirit stood before the gods. Radiant and free, he bowed and said, "I have learned, great ones. Fate is not a punishment, it is a path." The gods smiled. The sun rose again over Kutuj. The drums began anew.